was about 3,800, a little more. And the wife and I want to ride out to the Grand Canyon. We can. Probably about 25,000. I'm doing what I wanted to do all my life. My name is James Harris, and between me and my wife, Danielle Harris, we own a company called Jimmy Bodine's Let's Get Toasted Gourmet Grilled Cheese. We're located out of Odessa, Florida. How we got started, basically about 7 years ago, I was inquiring about doing some catering for a company in Florida and didn't really have the licenses. As we stated a few minutes ago, I was an auto mechanic, and that's what I was doing for a living. And somebody wanted us to do some catering and wanted us to actually do this type of environment for his business expo. I told the person at that time, who was very influential in our business, I don't have the licenses, can't do it, don't want to do it. He said, but I can make it worth your while. And he quoted me a price. At that point, I said, you know what? That might be interesting. My wife has always had a dream of owning our own business as far as a traveling concession stand or food truck or restaurant. So this is kind of fulfilling all three of those dreams together. I've always wanted to do it. Gives us the opportunity to be able to travel. So we put together our licenses and our equipment, and here we are 7 years later.
And what led you to do the grilled cheese or the food that you sell?
The very, very first event that we were signed up for was a grilled cheese festival. And the guy said you had to put something, we do a low and slow cooking method for barbecue as our proteins. We incorporate brisket, pulled pork, and charbroiled chicken into our menu items. And I've always had barbecue as a heart. It's always been my passion. I've always loved to cook. I've always been happy when people are happy from eating my food. So we incorporated that, and the guy that was promoting the event said you had to have a grilled cheese on your menu. So I went one step further. I said, how about I put 8 of them on there? He was flabbergasted. Here we are later. We actually take a couple of those off, but we added a few more. We still have 8 or 9 sandwiches to date on our menu. We still bring everything from our jam straight, which is a brisket, homemade bacon jam, onion crisps, and a Monterey Jack cheddar cheese, to a pulled pork and tomato, bacon. We do vegetables as a grilled cheese. We do a mac and cheese grilled cheese. And all these are on our menu on a regular basis, readily available every time, everywhere we go.
When you first started, did you start with a trailer or did you start with like a food stand?
No, actually, this is our stand. We started actually in the tents, and we started with a piece of equipment and an old flat top, and we just started doing it that way, and bought equipment. Today we have a fully commercial kitchen that we incorporate in and out of the trailer and set up into the 2 10x10 tents to make a 20x10 stand.
Can you say how much you may have invested to get started?
In the very beginning, like we did it on the very cheap, inexpensive budget. All the equipment was used. It was bought off a marketplace, and then we cleaned it up and had it tested and had it made sure everything was good and safe and warranty, and put everything together. Total probably about 25,000 I've got invested, worth probably about 50, 60. Well worth the investment.
So how do you end up like choosing your events? Do you set up locally in Florida, or are you guys only doing events? Are you doing catering? What does that look like? Currently
what we're doing, we do catering events in Florida. We're licensed actually in Florida as a caterer. We do a lot of the fairs and festivals, and that's where we've kind of targeted our business, because it does give us the availability to be able to travel, not only from Florida, but back and forth and all around the country. We find events via online. We talk to other vendors. There's quite a few other promoters that Interline. Facebook is a big one. We can find a lot on Facebook, and then we just research the event, and if it's something that my wife and I feel like it's something we want to do or we want to travel to, it's en route, or it falls in within our, like this for example, fell within our route of 3 or 4 that we're doing up here. So that, it just fell right into place and worked hand in hand. So far it's been good.
Can you say maybe what your biggest event was, or like what's your favorite one to go to?
Ooh, I'll be honest with you, and it's an event that I've heard through the grapevine that they're probably going to be bringing up here, the Chocolate Festival. That by far is one of our best events that we've done, as well as it's just one of the really, really fun ones, because we incorporate chocolate into our food. It's like with the Apple Fest, that we're doing this weekend here in Ionia. It's incorporating apples into the menu. So the themed events are really the really fun ones to do, because we always incorporate some kind of dish into our menu. That's how we've actually came up with several of our grilled cheese sandwiches, ironically, because let's do a mac and cheese festival. So we did a mac and cheese grilled cheese. It sold. So we decided to leave it on the menu because it sold. So people liked it. So like the apple. We're putting apples on cubans. We have authentic Tampa cubans here this weekend, coming from Tampa. That's where we're from. So We know a thing or two about that. And we're going to put sliced fresh apples on that and see what that does. So far to date, everybody that's tried one has liked it. I'm anxious to see how everybody likes them.
What does a typical day-to-day or week-to-week look like for you?
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually. Typically, we tear down on a Sunday. So we would like, for example, this weekend, when we're done here on Sunday, we'll tear down. We'll go back, we'll refresh, we'll get showers, we'll get cleaned up. We'll leave on Monday. We'll go to our next town where we're going. The next thing on the agenda is to find where we're going to buy the food. Replenish our food that we sold from the weekend before. We always buy fresh every week, so that we have everything up to par and everything's, as best as it can possibly be. So that's we buy the food. Obviously, we do an assessment as far as, if we have a little bit left over from the week before, like cheese or something, that will last an extra week or so. So we'll adjust our inventory accordingly, and then we prep. We'll prep for a day or two. We'll get everything ready. We'll get everything laid out. We'll get set up. Once we get set up, it's kind of a waiting game until the inspector comes around. Once we get inspected, then we can actually open. And it's just, then we do our vending for the weekend, and we get to meet a bunch of different people and have a really, really good time. And we do it all over again. So it's a kind of a vicious cycle, but what's cool for us is that we have no boundaries as far as, hey, we have to be here at this time. We have to be here at this time. We don't have to clock punch, that's why I went into business for ourselves, is so we didn't have a clock to punch. We want to be able, if we want to take a week off and the wife and I want to ride out to the Grand Canyon, we can. If we want to go to New York City and see the Eiffel Tower, we can. Now smart people like we are, we kind of get into the, Facebook and see if there's an event or something over that way and kind of plan a trip around it so that we can kind of get paid to do it. That's the goal, is to actually be able to travel, see different people, different places, do different things, and make a few dollars at it. I'm not going to get rich. I'm not one of them business owners that I don't want an island somewhere. That's not me, bro. I've got my own little piece of paradise. My wife and I, we do what we want to do. We love what we do. I hate to be cliches, but they say if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I can't tell how true that is. We love what we do. We don't work. We stress from time to time, because it's like, oh boy, okay, but the reality is that we get what we need. We're being taken care of, and I feel like we're making some good decisions and we're making some good moves, and we've got some positive things going on in the future that's going to be very, very just positive for us. It's just going to be real positive.
Can you talk about maybe the next steps of going forward? Do you guys plan on expanding, or do you plan on staying the same? What does the future look like?
Well, as you can see, we have the grilled cheese stand with us today. That's what we're traveling with currently. We actually have another food trailer that we're building as we speak, called Foods of Florida. And that is exclusively foods that were famous in Florida, that when you go on vacation to our beautiful state, that you can sample, people fall in love with, and then figure out that they can't get those foods anywhere else in the country. Well, our thoughts is that we want to put that trailer side by side this one, have two of them side by side. So you'll have the grilled cheese, you'll also have the Foods of Florida, but instead of being able to wait in this line, as we know, fairs are lines, instead of waiting this line and this line to get two different types of food, it's going to be two concepts, one line, and you get everything through the backs of the trailers. So you can have anything from this trailer, you can have anything from that trailer in one line. And the beauty of it is equipment that I can put on this trailer that I got room for that I don't have room for on that one, and vice versa. So I can have essentially a full commercial kitchen traveling with two trips wherever I want to go. So that's the goals for us. As far as expansion goes, my wife and I are pretty happy where we are with the two trailers. If something comes up, hey, we'll sit down and we'll hash it at that time.
How many miles do you think you travel in a year? And then also, are you doing all seasons?
Now we are doing, we are currently putting together a northern aspect or route like we were talking. We are wanting to relocate and bring our Foods of Florida and our grilled cheese stand up here to the Midwest region and do that during the summertime. So look for us everywhere around here, and then obviously, when it's cold, hey, I'm a Florida boy, love you, but I gotta love you from afar. But we'll be back because we have a good winter route that we do. We have some good spots down there that keep us very busy and very active. But our goals are to more so enjoy our lives more towards the winter time, and make a living up here, pay for our kids, pay so forth and so on, and then be able to play a little bit in the winter time, as well as been to our normal spots and see our normal people down there. We got some good friends, and we're not walking away from them, but we plan on making some more good friends up here as well.
Is there any expenses that you can talk about with like food or festival costs or anything that you can share that might be helpful?
When I started in this business 7 years ago, I asked those same very questions, and I was told by a lady in Florida that owns an Impamama truck. She said to save 25% of your gross revenue for mechanical failures. Think about that. Now, she didn't know. I'm an automotive and diesel mechanic, you know, so she didn't know that. But when she found that out, she was like, she wanted me to work on her truck, you know? So I've been blessed to have a 45-year career as an automotive and diesel mechanic. And because of that, I can fix anything on a vehicle. The last 15 years or so, it's been a mobile mechanic business, which kind of leads into entrepreneurs will have multiple businesses. This isn't our first. It won't be our last. You know, it's going to be one of the last, only because I don't really want to do anything else. I'm doing what I wanted to do all my life. But will I have other ventures? Absolutely. Entrepreneurs will have that. Don't be afraid to try. You know, people, like I said, people who fail are the ones who don't try. You know, if you don't try, you'll never succeed because you never tried. The ones who succeed usually find out that the trying part isn't really hard. A little effort goes a long way, especially in today's world, because you don't get a lot of that. The main expense that has to be incurred is mechanics. If the vehicle doesn't run, it doesn't get you to the next spot. If you're a painter and your truck doesn't run, you're not going to be able to get to that building to paint it. It doesn't matter what you do for a living. If you don't take care of the vessel that gets you there, you're not going to get there. Yeah, that would be the one expense I would say, especially if you're traveling in any kind of business where you're traveling, always a lot for mechanical failure. You know, now whether that be leasing your vehicle and your maintenance is taken care of by your lease company, it might be an option if you're not mechanically inclined.
Is there an event where you've had like your highest sales or you sold like tons of sandwiches, that like what that number of sandwiches was, or something you can share along those lines?
When we come to an event, we base our sales on projected as far as what do we think we're going to sell. Now, how do we do that? I typically will stock my concession stand for about 400 sandwiches. That's about what my wife and I and one person or two people can crank out, only because our flat top can only produce them as fast as the flat top can produce. If you have a product that's fast and can turn more, then obviously you're going to make more. But for us, sandwiches are, we usually stock in between 300 and 400 sandwiches. We sell a couple versions of tacos. We sell flour tortillas. We will stock 100 to 200 orders of those, depending on the event. And then we also sell nachos and side dishes as well. Homemade sides and fries. We will stock the event 100 orders of each probably. So, and if I can do that, I feel like that's a sold out day for us. If we sell all that, then we've had a good day, a great day actually. If we sell half of that, we've had a good day. We'll make money, you know. Don't price yourself cheap. One thing I notice that when we go to these events is you get people that will walk around and they see everybody's menu and then they price their menu cheaper. I was taught a long time ago that cheap ain't always good. If you want to do that, people see that. People see that you go around and they see the set prices. Our menu is set in stone. It's printed, you know. So it is what it is. We're not changing it. That's what we need to make to be able to make a dollar. And you know, that's what we do. This is what we do. It's not overpriced. It's not underpriced, you know. And like I got asked last weekend, hey, everybody's changing their price. Should we? No. And we sold out. Why? Because of quality. If your quality's there, key advice, quality. Quantity means nothing because your quantity will come if your quality's there.
Could you give me some statistics behind the event that you did recently?
Just last weekend, as a matter of fact, we were in Connersville, Indiana. We did a tri-state food truck competition event. There was 57 trucks at the event. The gross sales for our event that day was about 3,800, a little more, closer to 39. We placed 5th in the competition out of those 57 trucks. So we did pretty good. The numbers that they reported for attendance was 12,700 people at the airport that day. So those are pretty good numbers. We feel like we made a couple dollars that last weekend and had a great time.
And then how much did it cost to go there? Or do they like take a percent of your revenue? How does that work? Now
that one was actually because it was a competition, it was actually there was a purse where everybody competed. So the gross sales that the promoter promoted was 10%. Across the board, typically you'll pay anywhere from 10 to 15% on a low average on percentage. Some promoters or producers want a flat fee. Some producers want just, they just want it's going to be this much money to come in and period. Some want a fee plus percentage. This one here in Ionia is actually a percentage. Of course, we did have travel expense to get up here from Florida. That's not normally incurred, but we tried to break that up over a 4 different spot between here and the other 3 that we have in Indiana.
You have 3 tips of advice for any other entrepreneurs out there?
Number 1, don't ever give up, obviously. Quitters never win and winners never quit. It's going to be tough. There's going to be days that, there's been days that my wife and I, we haven't taken a paycheck. That's the truth. But that's the hard truth of it. Are those days outweigh the ones that we do? No, they're few and far between. And that's all about proper planning. We pick a good spot. If you do your research, and that probably leads into my number 2 thing, do your research. Because don't think that something is a good event just because the promoter says it's a good event. The reality is that, go off of customer reviews, go off of what the townspeople say, do your research, do your homework. We came up here 3 days in advance before we came up here to actually bring the trailer up to see where the ice is, see where the food is, do your, proper research. And then I would say prep in this business, prep is key, but most of all, have fun. At the end of the day, if you can go in, and when I first started, it was like, I need to make money. It's not about how much money you make. It's about the people that you come across and the people that, you can make smile and you can make happy. In the food truck world, anybody can go get a hamburger or anybody can go get a cheeseburger from a restaurant. You eat off a food truck because you want the experience. And if a food truck owner can give you experience, and I don't mean experience as you ate off the truck, but a fun experience where you had a good time, something remembered about the truck, something that people, that's big right there, bro. That's right there. To me, that's probably pretty important. It's not so much about the food. Yeah, they're out to eat. That's what they came for. People come to eat. People eat, they come to the festivals because they want to eat apples. They're going to come to the Apple Festival because they want to eat apples. And they want to eat apples in every single way possible. And you can do that at this event tomorrow. It's going to be days where it's going to be rough. It's going to be days where it rains on you. It's going to be days where it's cold. Get a jacket. Suck it up, Buttercup.